Good afternoon, time travelers. I am here with
Susan Johnson.
Nice to meet you, Miss Susan.
Pleasure to be here.
And today I am going to be interviewing her. So, to start off, who is Miss Susan Johnson?
Well, I am a lot of things, but really I'm Susan Johnson. I was born and raised in Thompson, Georgia, just right down the road, and went to college in Milledgeville, and came back, and we can get into a little bit more of that discussion later. And I been married to Scott Johnson for the last 15 years, and we live in Appling, so we live here.
That's good to hear. So, before your marriage, per se, what was life like coming up?
So I grew up in a little town called Daring, Georgia. I don't know if you've ever heard of Daring. So it's in McDuffie County. It's a tiny little town. Probably population's probably a couple of hundred. I'm not sure what it is today. So it's not far from here. Middle class family, lived in a ranch home, 3-bedroom, 1 bath. I have my parents are still married today and alive, and I have a younger sister. She's 5 years younger than me, and so I grew up really as a child so different than the children these days. Like, we were outside kids, sun up to sundown, outside, bicycles. I had a go-kart and a 3-wheeler, and in my neighborhood, I was the only girl. Other than my sister, and she was a lot younger than me. She's 5 years younger, and we didn't play a lot together as children. So I was the only girl. So my neighborhood was full of boys, which is probably why I was so athletic. I played every sport that existed growing up, and even tackle football in my neighborhood. And so the boys did not get the best of me. I got the best of them. So I grew up athletic and went all the way through McDuffie County school system. I played athletics in high school, and then graduated in 1992, so a long, long time ago.
Okay.
So growing up, I had just a moderate middle-class family. My parents both worked. I was the first to go to college in our family.
Oh,
Neither of
wow.
my parents graduated college, but they both had good, successful jobs.
That's good to hear. So, you said you did every sport
I
in
did.
athletics. Which one was your favorite one?
Honestly, that's kind of hard to answer, but probably baseball, which transitioned into softball in high school because girls didn't really play baseball in high school. But I played Little League baseball, and supposedly, I was told, I was the first girl on the Georgia Little League All-Star team.
Oh, wow.
So, and I played shortstop and pitcher, and that was Little League. That was elementary school. So, fun time. So I grew up, playing boys baseball, but I also played soccer. Again, street football. I didn't ever play rec ball, but I played basketball as a point guard. There weren't many sports. I played tennis in high school, ran track. So back then, we didn't have travel ball like you guys have now. So we played seasonal sports, when you were in school. So in the spring, it was one, thing. And then in the fall was when basketball started. And then, we had year round. And then track was in the spring. So it just depended on the season of what it was, what sport it was. And typically I played whatever that season was. So I loved it. And really, obviously I don't play sports anymore, but I'm still in the gym. I still work out, and I've coached as an adult, different sports. So it's been a good part of my childhood and adulthood.
That's great to hear. Sounds like you had a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, my childhood was happy. I had it was a great childhood. We weren't on video games. I had an Atari. You probably don't know what that is.
Yeah.
But I had an Atari. I only played it like at night and rainy days or super, super cold days. We just played outside. My mom wouldn't know where I was. She would just know I was in the neighborhood, and we went to, this friend's home and got drinks and ate lunch, and it was just, you probably the same way. So we just, our childhood was very different than I think now. I wouldn't dare let my kid just take off now, at 7 or 8 years old on their bicycle to go to the neighbor's house and me not know where they were. But back then, it was, I was an 80s kid, and that's the way we did it, and it was fun. I wish you guys had more of it.
I wish too, because now everybody's in the house.
Yeah,
It's not as fun.
it is. Yeah.
So when you were coming up, like through your young adult ages or teenage, I could say, what was your intention to become? Like, what were you really wanted to become?
So in high school, much like a lot of the high schools now, we had this track, I guess you could say. Back then you had college prep or vocational degrees. So you chose one, and I did both actually. I had a college prep diploma, but also the vocational one, because I took the track of health. It was called health occupations back then. Very similar to the things that they have now. I'm not sure if your school has it, but a lot of high schools have different CTAE or vocational pathways. And I did the healthcare one, and I fell, and my teacher was a huge inspiration as to why I wanted to go into healthcare. Her name was Miss Robin Dudley. She was wonderful, and really so many of my friends she inspired, and many of them went into the medical field. And so when I went off to college, I went to Georgia College in Milledgeville. And at that time, when you think about medical careers, it's a nurse or a doctor. You don't really know about all the other things that exist in that platform, which is so many. So initially it was to go to nursing school. And as we did rotations through different departments within the hospital, I went to the respiratory therapy department, and I loved the people, the teamwork. They get to travel throughout the hospital, and they're not just set in one area. Like most nursing is if you work in an ICU, you're in that ICU. And as a therapist, you work all around the hospital. So that really kind of drew me. I can't sit still. So I like the fact that I can move around a lot. And I applied to respiratory therapy. I came back from Georgia Military. I spent a year there, and I applied to respiratory school at Augusta Tech. And it was an associate's degree, and I got accepted. And I went to respiratory therapy school and honestly went right to work. My first year, believe it or not, and this was in 1996, my first year out of college, I had a full-time job at the VA. I worked night shift from 11 to 7. But then I would drive to Sparta, and I worked on a contract, and I worked 3 to 4 days a week from 9 to 3. So I stayed tired, but I made a killing my first year. Money was, back then I think I made like $13 an hour, but that was pretty decent money back then. And with both of those jobs, I thought I was rich. So I love to travel and stuff like that. And I spent a lot of that money living a fun life in my 20s. I wasn't married. I didn't have children. And I lived life. So I worked to play and travel. I really did. And so that's what I became. And career-wise, I worked as a therapist for years, and I loved it, but I was ready to grow. And in that growth, I wanted to become more. And so I knew going back to school to get a bachelor's was mandatory. Like, to ever grow in the medical field without a bachelor's degree was, it's not that you're going to do bad, but you're pretty stagnant. You're not going to grow in management or in leadership. So I went back to MCG, to the Medical College of Georgia, and I got my bachelor's. And during that time, I was doing some education in the hospital, and like new orientees or teaching nursing about respiratory therapy and doing different classes, and I fell in love with education. So I became the education coordinator. This was at University Hospital, and loved it and enjoyed it. And that's really where my education track started to take a turn. And so I was 28 or 29, somewhere in there, and I wanted to teach respiratory therapy. And to teach respiratory therapy, the schools, there's not that many. And then within the schools, there's not many faculty. There's not a lot of faculty in these departments, usually 2 to 4, depending on the school. And I knew people that teach in these departments, they either die or retire. Like, the turnover rate's very small. So there was a position that came open in South Georgia, and at the time it was Okefenokee Technical College. You've heard of the Okefenokee Swamp?
Oh, yeah.
So it's down there in Waycross, Georgia, and I actually interviewed, and so I got the job, and I moved. I moved to South Georgia. I lived in Blackshear for a couple of years, and I taught at the little college there, teaching the associate's degree program at that school. And this is not a short story. This is a long story. Teaching there, I loved it, enjoyed it, but I then still wasn't satisfied. I wanted to teach at the bachelor level. So I knew to do that, I had to get a higher degree than just a bachelor's degree. So while down there, I went to graduate school and I got a master's in education. And then I applied to MCG, my alma mater. I honestly never thought that I would get the job. I was 32, which is super young to be a faculty member at a medical school and teach in their allied health programs. I didn't think that I would get the job, and it was the hardest interview I ever sat in on or was, partook in, because it was a panel of people. So there were like 10 people, and it was a 2-day interview. It was crazy. But I got offered the job, and then we moved back, and shortly thereafter I had my daughter. I'd already had my son, so I had both my children then, and then I taught at MCG for 8 years. And then, there's a lot of other career changes that came after that, and I loved teaching at MCG. And that time, and you probably don't remember this because you would have been young, and maybe not even born, but the MCG went through some changes in names. They got a new president at the time, Dr. Aziz, and he did do some great things, but he also dissolved some great departments or blended them, and I left during that time. He made a whole lot of changes, and we were the Medical College of Georgia, Georgia Health Sciences, Georgia Regents, and then finally Augusta University. So in that 8 years that I was there, we changed names like 4 or 5 times.
Oh, wow.
Ultimately, that's why I left. And then I transitioned. I did some different stuff. I was a director for Goodwill, Helms College, and they branched out into the medical field. And I wrote the curriculum for their health department, their healthcare programs that still exist today. But I primarily was working out of Atlanta and Milledgeville. They had multiple campuses. And my children were young, and my husband's job is not an easy job to kind of me be absent, and I was gone 2 to 3 nights a week. And at the end of the day, I was just, being a mom was a little more important than my career. And I was probably at the very high point of my career, pivotal point as far as money. I was making really good money. I made good money at MCG too, but Helms, I was a director, so I was up a little higher. But my husband and I really made the decision, one of us has to kind of give up this career thing, and it was me. I needed to be home with my kids, and that's when I went to teaching healthcare education in high school.
Yes.
Yep.
So we've heard you've done a lot, right? So coming through those areas, what was your hardest part of coming up through all those things?
Balance, learning balance. I was very career driven. I was married to a man, and still am, that's married, that's career driven. My first marriage, he wasn't as career driven, but he supported me. But obviously that marriage dissolved. And when I married Scott, both of us being career focused and trying to find a balance in being a wife and being a mom and being good at all three. That's a challenge. And sometimes you fail at 1 or 2, and sometimes all of them. But finding balance, I think, is key, and probably was my greatest struggle when my kids were little. Now, obviously, it's different. But when my kids were little, that was a hard thing.
That's good. So going through those hard times, what was a key thing someone has told you, or what has helped you the most to keep you going throughout life? I had a couple of mentors along the way, I think, and a lot of people that I probably looked up to that they didn't know I looked up to them. But I respected how they handled situations and the ways that they learned balance that I witnessed them. And honestly, just having a supportive husband. I mean, we sit down when we know things are off, we talk about it, and you choose that every day. And then you figure it out. Like you just create the path, you figure it out, you talk it out. So he's probably my sounding board, but also I provide stability for him and he provides stability for me. We're very different as far as personality wise, but we're also, our goals are common. And really, it's family should be first. God, family, and then career. And that's taken a while to learn. It's taken some stumbles along the way, for sure.
So you mentioned God first. So coming up, like, did you ever like tussle with God on what you should be doing and like what you wanted to do now?
Oh, yes. Yes, and I think if I said no, I think it would be foolish. I think, when you're praying about roles or jobs or what are you meant to do, for me, in any position I've been in, it's about the reward for me is how I make a difference in others. So, and some people love their jobs. I loved what I did for people and saw the change in them. That's in healthcare. I mean, that's from being a part of deliveries to being a part of holding dozens of hands as they took their last breath. So knowing that you are a positive role model or a positive impact in those jobs, and education was the same. I mean, you can't not teach kids and not, I really did love it, even though it was high school and people are like, how did you do that? You impact dozens of kids and the job changes every day and it changes every year. And so there's a lot of prayers in that go into all of those. But I feel like when things were right, God opened the door. I've never been scared of change or a challenge. And I think when doors were open and they were the right doors, then where there's a will, there's a way. And there were doors that were shut sometimes. But in hindsight, I get it and I know why. So in that moment, you're disappointed, maybe even hurt. But when you look back, you're like, now, okay, I understand. I see your plan. I get it. I know why that worked out that way. But hindsight only tells you those things. So, praying and being patient is key, is really key. And patience is not one of my best features.
Yeah, I have the same thing. It feels like every time I pray to God about something, sometimes you just have to like let me figure out by myself, but he's still there. It's like he would tell me to hush for a minute and just listen. Because me, like you said, patience is not my biggest feature. I'm like, oh, I want it now. Sometimes God would be like, just sit there and wait.
That's right.
And it's going to come straight to you. You just got to give me my time to do it. Because you can't do it on your own time. Because that's going to be the way of the world.
Right.
And it's going to come back the wrong way. But if it's coming back God way, it's going to come in the right way.
That's right.
So that's what I had to sit back and learn.
And when you look back, it makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. It's that old, there's a song, Unanswered Prayers. And there's a lot of my prayers that weren't answered in the time I thought they should have been answered. So yeah, God's always been a large part. And even today, as I'm older, I feel like there's a sense of peace and calmness in my life now. But there's different struggles, Each season of life brings its own season of happiness, of sorrows, of struggles, and sometimes they're similar and sometimes they're very different.
Yes, well, thank you for that response. The last question, second to last question, is what is a fun fact or a few fun facts we don't know about you?
Well, one was that I don't know how there was no social media back then, but playing as a girl on the Little League Georgia All-Star team as a shortstop and pitcher, and I did strike out some boys. That was, yeah, most people would find that unless you knew me as a kid, people that know me now are like, you did what? So that's definitely one. I love the outdoors still. I love anything outdoors until it gets over 95 degrees, then I'm out, or under like 30, and then that's difficult too. But I used to snow ski, and my daughter and I just went to Colorado this summer. I think I told you this.
Oh yeah.
We went hiking. We spent 8 days actually in Colorado, and we went to different sites, and we hiked the sand dunes, and it was great quality time. We thoroughly enjoyed it. So I don't. Those are two things that some people that don't really know me personally would kind of like you're an outdoorsy, and I very much am. I'm not a high maintenance female. My husband might disagree a little bit, but overall, I'm pretty simple, and I really do. The older I get, the simpler life is. as far as what I enjoy. Sitting on my back porch. I mean, 10 years ago, if you told me I'd love sitting on my back porch rocking, I would have laughed at you because I'm very energetic. But in the afternoon, it's one of my favorite times until it's over 95 degrees and then I'm not out there.
Catch me in the pool.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a couple of things that I think would be a surprise to some people. But, you know, overall, I think that, and opening this business that I have now, I mean, that shocked a lot of people because I've never worked in, so I'm the president and CEO of the 1790 Club, and I have never worked in F&B, in food and beverage before, never served. In my younger days, I worked at a bank and I worked at a video store, but I've never worked in a restaurant. So this was a brand new venture. Again, it was a challenge and it was taking a risk, but it was calculated, it was prayed about, and Scott and I studied this for a long period of time before we actually jumped into this.
Yes. Fun fact, I work with her too.
Yes, he does. He's a great employee.
Yes. Okay, so the last and final question is, do you have questions for me? Because we're flipping the script.
So I already asked you a couple. I wanted to know what you wanted to do. And one of the things that he mentioned is that he was thinking about being a teacher. And I think that's one of the professions that isn't highlighted near as much as it should be.
Yes,
Is it an easy job? Yes and no. Some days you go home with a high five and it's the best day you had. And then some days you're questioning what in the world you're doing. But it's a job that is as rewarding as it is challenging. And you literally impact, depending on how long you teach, hundreds of lives. How many other professions can you say that? That you truly give direction and goals and love and a mentorship, and you're also educating at the same time. Just no matter what entry level, whether it's kindergarten or college, teaching is the most rewarding profession I've ever done. So I encourage you to do that.
Yes.
So I hope that you continue on that path, and you won't make bad money when not in Georgia and not in Columbia County. I'm not sure about other counties, but in Columbia County, they pay their teachers well. So I encourage you to, as you maneuver through life, your passions and your goals, they'll change, but you can grow with education. You can. So I encourage you to do that. But I do have a question.
Okay.
So you go to Curtis Baptist.
Yes, ma'am.
What sports do you like? Because we've talked about it a little bit.
Ooh. I like track, basketball, cross country. They don't have this anymore at that school, but I love football.
Yeah.
I stopped playing baseball. That's a fun fact. I played baseball and soccer. But honestly, I like tennis too.
Really?
Yes. Even though I kind of scored the most awkwardest points.
Hey, it's not how you win the game, it's that you win it.
Yes. Because I remember I had like a tournament and I had swung it and I hit it, but we were looking for the ball the whole time. It was stuck in the neck of the racket, like the little open space.
Oh yeah, the little, yeah.
And I was like, did I win? And I was like, no, just redo it. I'm like, oh.
Well, at least you got to redo it.
Yeah.
At least you got to redo it. Yeah, I think athletics teach kids a lot of things, even into adulthood. It teaches you how to be a team player. It teaches you how to be competitive, and I think competitive, but also lose. It teaches you how to be a winner, teaches you how to be a loser, but it gives you, I don't know any athlete that I grew up with that really played sports that didn't succeed in their career, because it teaches you those foundational skills that you need to be successful in any career path.
Yes.
So I would encourage you to continue doing those as long as you can.
Yes.
Even after you graduate high school.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah, there's adult versions of, even football, but all of those rec departments, most of them have adult leagues. So I encourage you to continue to do that.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I thank you for coming on here with
Absolutely.
me today. And I wish you the best of luck in your restaurant career and furthermore. And thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you having me.
Yes, ma'am. Well, guys, in another time zone, I'll see you next time. And bye.